We'll zoom here and we'll kick it off. So again, welcome everyone for our monthly meetup. Again, we're doing this because we call it street level AI. We feel like a lot of people feel AI is happening to them, and they don't have a say, they don't have a voice, so our goal really is always to like open it up. You can ask any questions if you have comments, if you have things that make you anxious about AI, just let us know and we're happy to answer those right here. So Jacques, I kind of hand it off to you. We'd like to start with like what's the recent news? Like what's been happening? It's been like 30 days since we met or we saw each other and had the first Zoom. So maybe what's happening in the world of AI, Jacques kind of give us a rundown. So people kind of and we were talking about this before. People see the headlines, they see the things that flash across their feed, right? And it's like, oh, this is happening, and but most people don't take the time to go a little deeper to really understand what's going on. So, Jack, was maybe some of the headlines that you saw that caught your attention as well.
Yeah, before I start, I really appreciate each and one of you for joining here. As Bevon mentioned, this is our monthly AI virtual meetup where we'll be, teaching ages 0 to 99 how to implement AI, talk about the latest news that happened within AI for within the last month. Really just get everybody involved in AI. And as I mentioned, I'm just glad that you guys are here. So some of the news from the last month. I'll start off with the Fable 5 news. So, Claude Fable 5, which was Claude's new or recent model, which was a lesser extreme from from their newest model, which is Mythos 5. But the government outright banned Mythos 5 and said that they aren't able to, start it's not ready for like public usage. So which is why Claude or Anthropic had decided to drop Fable 5, which was a little bit more secure and a little bit more ready to use for public. But the government just banned this last week and said that it wasn't ready. So Fable 5 got pulled by the US government days after launch. And the government had ordered Anthropic to shut off Fable 5 and Mythos 5 over a jailbreak that they feared could be misused. Anthropic had pushed back and worked to restore it, but now big AI now moves at the government speed. So what this has done is the government was able to take the release of Claude's newest model, which is Fable 5, and they was able to ban this, meaning that nobody in the United States can use this model. Nobody or no one anywhere can use this model. And the other models like ChatGPT and Google Gemini, now they are a little bit like frightening because it's like if the government has the power to take down Anthropic's model, they could just take down our model whenever they want to. And this is kind of like um so like I guess like the follow up to this is that a Japanese startup called Sakana AI, which it just dropped a few days ago. It's pretty much on the same level as Fable 5. And as I mentioned, this is from Japan. And what makes this special is that their system, which is called Fugu, it stitches together several AIs together. And it actually was able to hit the same exact Fable 5 slash Mytho numbers on benchmark test, but like in terms of like the real world test, it wasn't able to match up to Anthropic. But it goes to show you that these foreign countries are matching up to our top AI models. And the last story regarding the Anthropic Fable 5 ban is from another um, open source model called GLM 5.2. And this is from China's Z.AI. And it's free to download and it's nearly as good as Fable 5. And it's only a fraction of the cost, meaning it's open source. So you can run this from your local device. You could run it from your laptop. You can run it from your PC. And the good thing about like just open source models, so DeepSeek and like GLM 5.2 is the fact that if you download these to your local device, the government doesn't have the authority to ban them. So people love open source because you have the outright authority over these models. The government can't come ban the GLM 5.2 from your device because it's already on your device versus a Claude code or a Claude model that's publicly available. The government can just snatch that anytime it wants. So this headline goes to show you that although the US is topping the charts in terms of these AI models, the government right now is, in my opinion, causing us to lose some traction, which is why these Chinese and these Japanese open source models are able to match our levels.
Yeah, I think some of us might have seen the headlines around, the government banned Anthropic's latest model. And some of the reasons for that is good. It's really good. It was able to like actually, when it the fear is like cyber security, right? Because you can use these models to break into things. And it was able to do that really, really good and really fast. So the US government was like, hey, we gotta lock this down. You can't use this, you can't sell this. You can't sell it on the enterprise level. You can't send it to the regular person. Because think about the regular person having their hands on things like these. So I think some of these headlines we see with AI scare a lot of people, right? And probably for good reason, because how powerful they are and what you can do with them. Because again, Jacques and I and the work we do, we are always looking to say how can we do good with AI? How can we empower communities? How can we help teach young people? This week, I was just telling Jacques I'm at the Discover Community Center, Shine Bright Center in East Chatham, doing a 4-day AI innovation camp with the Dream Academy Foundation for high school students and college kids. And it's all about teaching them how to use AI to create a business that serves their community, that they can monetize, so everybody wins. So that's how we want to use the technology, and that's what we've been doing. We also work with school districts and nonprofits and just regular folks. But again, there's always this dark side where people will try to do, bad things with the technology. But our goal with these sessions, with everything that we do, is always like, how do we do good and make sure that our communities benefit from that stuff as well. So, Jack,
Yeah,
was you wanted yes, I'll hand it back to you.
yeah. I had like another like everyday story that I guess that would be fitting for today's call.
Yeah.
So um this is in alignment with how people are getting their news, and people are getting their news by AI nowadays. So it's an estimate that 1 in every 10 people are getting their news from AI chatbots nowadays versus Google and Wikipedia. And I could have like, of course, I can see the trend happening, especially as more people, is using AI and more people are just getting comfortable with it. But I wanted to highlight the fact that just because we are using AI more doesn't mean that it's becoming more trustworthy. So you should still double check everything that an AI chatbot tells you, because it can still hallucinate. And I feel like that with you being able to get answers more rapidly, you should be just diving a little bit deeper into a certain conversation or a certain topic. If I'm learning about like AI and marketing and I can get an answer in 5 seconds, now I want to go down a rabbit hole of how I can use AI marketing in my day to day. But I feel like, yeah, as I mentioned, I feel like that now you just should be able to just be a little bit more insightful on what you're actually learning and getting your news from these AI news outlets.
Yeah, because these days, again, most people are like, how do I tell what's real versus what's fake, right? Even with the news. The news used to be the thing that we could trust, you know, before AI, before online stuff. I mean, we turn the TV on and watch the news. We read the newspapers, right? These things are like, right? How many people do that anymore? So I think the algorithms on these platforms, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, they're learning us and our behaviors and our interests, and they're feeding us what we want, pretty much what it thinks we want. So I think like Jacques was saying, always try to go a little level deeper and to find legitimate sources. The last time I think we had mentioned Perplexity,
Mm.
the platform. I'll put the link in there again too, but a platform that you can. It's an AI platform, but it actually checks and cites sources and all that kind of stuff, so you can trust it a little bit more that the information you're getting back is legit. ChatGPT, OpenAI started doing the same thing with sources as well too. Because they quickly realize that, listen, people are coming into these platforms and literally they don't most a lot of people aren't using Google anymore to search for things. They're searching in their platform, right? The AI. So on one hand, it's good in that you can go to a single place and get all your answers, but The other hand is like that single place is curating what it thinks you want, right? With Google, at least you had pages and pages of different information. You can sort through that. Now this AI personal assistant is really trying to just like curate exactly very personalized things. And I think with the news, I like getting different types of news from all over the place and just kind of figuring out and see what's going on. So I think like Jacques was saying, where people get the news from is changing in the age of AI as well, you know?
For sure. For this for my last news topic, I wanted to kind of open it up a little bit. So a few days ago, Caesar, who is a very famous artist, she just said a few days ago that she found out that AI has trained 238 of her songs, and she's like against all of that. She said that no one asked her for permission, and then she said if you are a musician who supports AI music, that you like she don't want to do anything with you. She don't have anything to say to you. So my question for you guys is, do you support like AI in terms of like creativity? So this can be musicians, or this can be graphic designers, or this can just be any of the creative spaces. And yeah, I just want to open it up just to see like where are your heads at in terms of just using AI in creative spaces.
Yeah, it was actually a student in the the, the camp this week. He's into music, and we had him. So we used them. We had them vibe code things, and he built a music platform. But I asked him that same question. I was like, what's your thoughts on like AI for music? He's like, he doesn't like it to create from scratch. You can use it to tweak and fine tune and after it's created, but he wants to write the music. He wants to like put the melodies together. And when it's done, you can polish it up using AI. But he does not like the fact that it's being used to generate music from scratch. So again, people have different opinions on it. Um, we have a musician on here actually. Marquita, do you want to give us a little input? I forgot your artist.
She put something in the comments.
Yeah.
That's funny. I put something in the comments. So, good evening, everyone. So, to me, no, I don't support AI and the arts. I put in the comments that is missing the soul that's needed to actually communicate human experience because we're humans having experience, and that's what art is supposed to do. It's supposed to transmit human experiences from one person to another, but in a way that is familiar and connective. And I just don't, I haven't seen any AI art that has been able to, make me feel, if that makes sense.
No, totally. I think more and more artists are true artists, musicians in particular are saying that as well too, because again, some things you hear that you really can't differentiate sometimes, but um some artists are also taking the other side and saying that like listen, you know, and they're using it
Something
in different ways, right? So I think who was the
think
artist?
some
Was it
golden stones.
who's this on
I
give
think
me a
I
second.
found some golden stones.
Somebody found some golden stones. Hold on one second. Yeah, I got it. All right, so Jacques, I think was it Meek Mill that said he used AI to catalog his stuff to
Yeah.
organize it to realize,
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, Meek Mill, he said he used Claude Code in order to like have it go through his contracts, have it like go through um like publishing and licensing for songs
Yeah.
and stuff that like he wasn't able to file properly, like missing money on songs that he was featuring on. So he took it a step further from like using AI like as a creative tool, but he used it in the terms of like as a business aspect and just helping him just find things within his own catalog, and also just like automating some of the tasks that he probably did want to do. But he's not using it in terms of like helping him like like write a rap song or create like a freestyle. Marquita, my question for you is, do you feel the same way, like like differentiating if you can from like a musician versus like someone who's receiving it on the end, who's like if I'm a listener, listen to your song and it's good to me, um do you think that the end users or like the general public cares if AI created it, or do you think that they care if it sounds good to them?
I think it's an audience for everything. So of course there's going to be some people who um don't mind AI generated art. Um but like for me, so even with music, like I prefer instruments. It just
Mm.
sounds better than me than like Fruity Loops or whatever production thing.
Like an
Yeah.
808 or something.
I mean, I like an 808 sometimes, you know. I like an 808 sometimes, but a nice drum, a bongo,
I get you.
you know, that you know. So you know, of course, there'll be an audience for it, but for me, I guess it's just a personal preference.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And then for everybody else too, I mean, again, the whole point of these sessions are to ask. You can ask any question here, right? Things that you heard about AI. If you're a business owner, how can you use AI in your business? Do you have questions about that? We have tons of examples of ways we've helped business owners learn about it and learn how they can implement it as well. And we like to make this interactive. Every session we build something or we do something in real time based on your feedback. So we're taking, put in the chat if you want to come off mute if you have suggestions, if you have things that you would like us to try now, we could do it right now, right? But the goal is to help. And the way I describe AI all the time is like, this is the show me technology. Like, don't just tell me you know about it. You actually need to show me if you're going for a job, all that kind of stuff. They're asking interns to like, what's your portfolio? Show me what you've built, as well too. So I see somebody has their hand raised here. We
Hi,
don't have
my
a
name is
name.
Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hey,
I
Vanessa.
so I am very much interested in this space and how to implement it in the business and not to be adding fees to whatever we have. If anything, I'm trying to see where I can make some cuts, right? So one of the things, there's two different businesses that I manage. They're family owned, but as my mom's getting ready to retire, I've stepped in to help modernize and digitize some parts of the business. But now with AI in place, I'm just like, oh, I still feel like a dinosaur. Which, it feels like, oh, okay, right when I thought we were getting to a better point, I'm like, oh, we're still kind of very outdated. So fast forward, I guess I'm looking for some solutions that are pretty much time consuming for us on our end because there's some things that are very manual. And one of the things, it sounds very basic, but basically, every month we have to do home visits, and every other month we have to do home visits with individuals. And it has to be, so one is the scheduling part, right? Because not everyone is savvy with their phones. We have a lot of senior citizens that still have flip phones, right?
Yeah.
So that's been some of the challenges as I've been in the space with them is that trying to get that, and it's only a handful. So I'm like, not enough for me to not want to move forward with automating some features, just getting them to just teaching them and coaching them along the way, right? As we're making these changes. So one of them is scheduling these visits. Um, and also, instead of us calling them to remind them, we're going to be calling them for our home visit, like an automatic reminder, and it's showing up in our calendar. So that's one. Um, I know that I kind of in theory, I did a little bit of research and saw, okay, I can pretty much use the Microsoft applications like the bookings, the Power Automate, um, and I guess yeah, like our calendars, and maybe create some kind of a form and forms. Um, but I guess I'm just a little intimidated by it, to put everything together. Like how to do things individually, but for it all to become being one, where I don't have to go to different places to be updating things. It pretty much extracts the data from like an Excel spreadsheet.
Let me. What you described again is right business owners trying to automate things to make themselves more efficient. AI is like the assistant that you can't afford to hire. So for $20 a month, right? You could use it to do all of the scheduling things. You can have a central dashboard where you, the business owner, could see where everything's at any given time. I love dashboards. So I think Jacques, what do you have what's your thoughts on some of the stuff that she's looking to automate?
Yeah, I feel like that I guess I'm gonna say it's because we already, this is what we do. We can easily implement this for you, Vanessa. Um, Actually, I was gonna show you guys a new feature that ChatGPT just dropped. So this goes right in alignment to Vanessa's question. Let me share my screen. Bevon, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yep.
All right, there you go. Bevon, can you see my Codex
Yep.
interface?
Yep.
All right. So this is Codex. So Codex is ChatGPT's desktop version. So it's the same thing. I don't know why they called it Codex, but it's just their desktop version. It's like their version of Claude Code in a sense. So it's the same exact thing with ChatGPT, but you can like vibe code, you can do your automations, you can do everything from this interface, and it's just way more powerful than the browser ChatGPT. So for Vanessa, they just dropped this new feature called 1 second. So plug in. It's called like where you can record a skill. So what this is called record and replay. So literally what you can do is you can, once you hit this, ChatGPT is going to literally record your entire screen. And let's say that every morning you need to upload a YouTube video and you have to get the Slack, you got to get the video from Slack. Then you need to get your image thumbnail from a shared team Google Drive folder. And you are literally clicking every button using this record and replay that Codex is offering. So you hit play and record, and then you do everything that you need to do in terms of like the whole workflow of everything. So in your case, if it was scheduling, if it was like going to your email and then going to um the home visit that you have to do and then going through it and typing up email for them, recording that whole flow, and then hitting stop once you are finished. And then ChatGPT is going to literally record that whole workflow from every step, every click, everything, and then it's going to turn that into a skill. And then this skill, you can use this skill every time. So you can say, Chat, I want you to go and run the schedule skill. So it's going to go and take over your browser. It's going to be able to do this entire automation for you using your laptop without you having to do anything. And you don't have to like prompt it. You don't have to do anything in terms of coding. You are literally just recording your browser and just letting ChatGPT see the workflow.
Yeah, and
Hopefully
I,
that
I
was
just want so I put the definition of a skill in the chat. Um, Try this out when you guys get a chance. I'm telling you, like it makes, for example, forms, right? We all have to fill out forms online all the time, right? Now you can do that using AI, right? It actually, of course, keep your personal information and stuff, but just forms in general, navigating a website. I'll give you an example. I use an application on my phone called Blink. So like it's a digital business card. And today I need to send out an email blast to all my friends in nonprofits because we have an event coming up with the city on July 22nd. And I wanted to blast this out and say, hey, you need to be there. So I got contacts in Gmail, I got contacts in Outlook, I got contacts in my Blink thing, right? So I opened up Blink on my desktop, on my laptop, and I use Claude, the Chrome extension. Claude, so that's another tip. You install the Claude if you're using Claude, do the Claude extension for Chrome, right? So hit that. I'm logged into Blink, and I said, listen, I need to find all the nonprofit contacts in Blink. Look at the domain name for the email. So if it's like afterschoolmatters.org, if it's Metropolitan Family Service, so look at the domain name, look at the company that they work for. They have to be in Chicago. Boom, done. In less than 5 minutes, I had a whole list categorized by, large nonprofit, medium, whoever, when I met them. I had like 25, 30 people. I said, hey, put this in a list that I can easily copy and paste. I could have taken that a step further and said, send the email for me. Right? Draft the email and send it for me as well. It's because it has control, it has like it's connected to my Outlook as well. So again, think about the time it would have taken you or me to go to all these different places, find all these emails. It's like easy, like hour and a half or more, right?
yeah.
And then put it in one thing, and then create the email, right? I did all that in less than 5 minutes. So I grabbed all the email addresses, I copied, pasted, boom, send the email, we're done. So I think it's just really amazing with some of the stuff you can do to be more efficient, you know.
Yeah, agree. And I feel like that nowadays these big AI labs are trying to make it where like non-technical people can do things that are pretty technical. Mind you, I don't know a lick of code. I don't know how to code. I don't know how to code. So like Claude and ChatGPT, they're just trying to make everything as like seamless as possible, where anybody who has no code experience can go and run an AI automation and then can go and create a scheduled task or even like go vibe code a solution that, for any problem that you have. So like as time goes on, these tools are going to be way more just easier for us to use and cheaper because of the competition. So we love cheap stuff and free. So it'll be there real soon.
Love free 99. Uh,
Exactly.
so yeah, again, anybody else have anything they want us to look at, talk about, discuss? It could be in your business, personal. Yeah, again, any questions, and nothing's off limits when it comes to like what.
Gabrielle just raised her hand.
Yeah, go ahead, Gabrielle.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. What's going
Hi
on?
everyone. Good evening. What's up? What's up? Yeah, my guy. What's up?
How you feeling? Really?
I'm happy to be here talking about this. I'm loving what you both are doing. Um, I I come from a PR background. I built a tool to help me create pitches faster for work. And so I got one user, I vibe coded it. I got one user, I put my framework, so my PR logic, the way publicists look at the news. So I bake that into the tool so that it's not just a tool kind of creating putting them words together. It's a tool thinking like a publicist, editing with that frame of mind and that with the news in mind. So anyway, I got one user, $9, very exciting. And I'm having a positioning issue though. I'm trying because the tool is from my mind, so it's a publicist's mind. But I have two lanes that I can sell it to. Am I selling this tool to another publicist who's managing clients, or am I selling this tool to a solopreneur who just needs his or her own press? So I would love for you guys to check it out. You can try it for free. And I'm really trying to get data for a survey that I'm going to be for you guys to check it out. It's called Build My Pitch. I'll put it down in the chat. And yeah, I've been building and connecting with other founders. I have quite a few people raising money off of vibe coded apps. So they're pitching apps for actual United States dollars that they're building on vibe coded. It's like it's incredible.
I'm
So
doing
for
that
me,
right now, bro.
exactly. So it's like, I told my partner to the chat. I don't know if he can make it, but there are people that really have cool ideas and industry specific solutions to problems. And so you don't need to do anything other than like fix one solution with your vibe coded app or whatever. So yeah, build my pitch. You can host it. Okay, so real quick, you can create vibe coded HTML, right? Single page HTML files, and you can host them for free on this place called Netlify. And so you can ship quickly, you can make iterations, you can get that quickly. So that is the cool thing with vibe coding, because you don't have to spend 50 grand in 6 months to create your minimum viable concept. You can go in and within a couple of hours have something that people can try. So yeah,
Uh,
that's what I'm doing. Please check it out. Thank you.
No, this is amazing, Gabrielle. I'm glad that you like shared your vibe coded solution in the chat. And I'm also glad that you was able to just touch on something that Bevon and I have been preaching. Um, it's not like like right now is the easiest time to be an entrepreneur. And I say that because many of us have been working in our industry for what, 10 plus years. So we have those certain like industry niche knowledges, and we know the problems that we know the problems that the participants in our industry face on a day-to-day basis, right? So what we can do is take those problems like Gabrielle did and then use a vibe coded tool like ChatGPT or Lovable or Claude and then create the solution for that because we know that the people in our industry have these problems and they are looking for this solution. That's a built-in target audience right then and there. So I really appreciate you for sharing that, Gabrielle. Um, I'm looking at it right now. Well, I've already looked at it. We went through it already, but just off first glance, again, when we looking at it right now, I think that you should low-key broaden it up a little bit, meaning that like right here it says that you are like focused on like LinkedIn, but I feel like you should broaden that up. You should focus on like Twitter, especially within the AI sphere. AI Twitter is where like the AI news and like the PR firms and the big companies, that's where they post everything from like their live. Thank you for pulling it up right here. Looks amazing. But that's where they post their like company updates. When they post their like new models, that's when they post their partnerships. So by posting on Twitter where these AI startups live and they need PR. I promise you, like you will literally see like a greater influx of like people in the AI niche reaching out to you because we do need like PR.
I think a lot of startups need PR, as they're going about raising money, telling the story, going go to market, right? Yeah, I could see multiple use cases for this. Yes, the individual solopreneur as well, but also I work with a lot of nonprofits and for-profits. And nonprofits in particular are very bad at telling their story, so we have to force them to tell their story sometimes. There are a lot of stories to tell. They just don't know how to do it. Now, Jacques and I can help them, automate the posting and all the content creation, but sometimes they just need someone who has experience like this. So I can see multiple use cases and audiences for this as well.
For sure. And then one more thing to add. I see George Mason with his hand up. One more thing to add to Gabrielle's is the fact that because vibe coding is so and like like anybody can code any solution, like it makes it easier to be a coder, right? But the hardest thing right now is marketing. So distribution, just because coding is so easy, the biggest thing right now is actually finding users who actually want to use your product. So distribution or marketing is important right now. So please like just focus on like distribution and the thing that I've been doing is building my personal brand. So I post daily AI content. I do workshops with Bevon. Like we really teach ages 0 to 99 the real AI sauce. And by me building up my personal brand and building in public with different products and tools that I'm creating, um, like when I drop a tool or a solution, my audience, because I'm building on my personal brand, it's already in alignment to what they would like to see from me. So it's like it's like a built-in audience because I already have a group of people who are supporting me and are interested in things that I create. So please start building your personal brand if you are thinking about being an entrepreneur because it'll make it easier for you to like because I know you're going to probably build another product. Once you build another product, you still have that same target audience and they're gonna ship to this product because they are already interested in you and your content. George, did you had your hand raised?
Yeah, hey, good evening, everybody. Yeah, I was gonna just say I actually use Build My Pitch to post all of my LinkedIn posts from my startup, and what the first time I used the product, I got 50,000 impressions. It was like I've never got more than like maybe like a couple hundred, and the first time I used that product, just like a shameless plug, but it was like crazy. So definitely, I'm primarily using it for LinkedIn right now to like grow awareness of the brand. Just like at least when I try to reach out to investors or VCs or just people in the space that I'm trying to target, the idea that I'm using that content so they'll see me a few times where ideally they engage with my content and I can follow up via their DMs. And I hit them in the DMs like, yo, thanks for following up on my content. And then can we do a virtual coffee chat or X, Y, and Z? And that's kind of been my like go-to-market strategy of how to like cold, warm like outreach to these particular people that I'm trying to reach out to.
That's beautiful. That's and
Amazing.
that's a testament to Gabrielle's product too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the build my pitch is 10 out of 10.
Nice, nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think something too. So I was talking earlier about nonprofits. So I've started a couple nonprofits. I'm putting something in the chat here. This when this came out, Jack? Like last week or the week before?
Like 2 weeks, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
If you are in a nonprofit, run a nonprofit, no friends who run nonprofits, have them look at Claude Corps. So Claude and Anthropic is a company behind Claude. They're paying 1,000 young people $85,000 a year to spend inside of a nonprofit, right? Building AI tools is fully funded by Anthropic. You don't have to pay them. No degree is required, and the nonprofits get a $10,000 grant, right? If you have a for-profit, I have for-profits and nonprofits. I'm taking advantage of this because right, I'm already in the Anthropic ecosystem as a community partner anyway. And when Jacques had sent this to me on Instagram, and then like 5 minutes later, I get an email from Anthropics inviting Bevon's Mentee Network to join the program or whatever. So I asked for about two fellows, and it has to be a hybrid. They want them to be either in person. They can't be fully remote because they want an in-person experience. But this actually is very in line with what we've been saying for a long, long time. When you talk about street level AI, right? Nonprofits and that nonprofit sector has been very slow to adopt anything innovation wise. They do not move fast. AI is forcing them to move fast. And how do they do that? They can't afford people, the hires, right? To hire people. They can't afford consultants. They don't have the time to go learn all this stuff themselves and do it themselves. So Anthropic, Claude saw opportunity here, right? They're going to embed fellows. And I think the age group is like recent college grads, that kind
Yeah,
of age
like
range,
recent,
right?
yeah, like
Yeah,
recent college grads.
early professionals. They're gonna embed them in these nonprofits. They're getting healthcare benefits. They're getting an $85,000 salary, all that kind of stuff, right? And Anthropic is actually like mentoring and coaching them too along the way. So they're checking in with the company, they're making sure they're adding value to what you're doing. But I say all that to say, I use Bevon Mentee Network, a nonprofit, and we have access to this now. But that's my kind of enterprise account. That does, I could do anything I want in there for my for profit. You know what I'm saying? So you got to find ways to like take advantage of these programs. Not take advantage, but leverage. Um, if we, hey, you know what I'm saying? And if you're a nonprofit, it's almost more than a 50% or more discount on the cost of it, right? So you also get a steep discount, right, as a nonprofit. So in my opinion, it makes sense to go form a nonprofit. It's actually not that there's a nonprofit easy version, right? It takes like 4 or 5 weeks and you have a nonprofit, a 501(c)(3). But you can now leverage that to get access to OpenAI, ChatGPT, Claude, Microsoft, Gemini, right? The list goes on and on. They all have a solution, greatly, steeply discounted, almost free sometimes for nonprofits, right? But you're getting the full platform. You're not getting anything less than the enterprise big company that's using it. So even if you have a for-profit business, I know how it can be eating through credits and tokens, right? There's been some recent headlines, Jacques, about companies um, blowing through the entire AI budget within a month because nobody was paying attention to like the cost of the credits and the tokens, and they like in 1 month the entire budget for the year was done. But again, we're not trying to gatekeep any information. Anything we find out, boom, we share it with folks that we know that it can help.
And to just piggyback off what Bevon was just saying about Claude Corps, this is a great, I don't want to say solution, but it's like a great like response to the like young adults who are like pretty much anti-AI. So Bevon and I were just talking earlier, and a large percentage of like the younger audience is like anti-AI. Like they do not like AI at all. First, because of the fact that AI is replacing a lot of their jobs, and the misleading headlines that are saying things like AI is using X amount of water and it's using X amount of energy. Of course, it's using water, but like some of the headlines are are like false and wrong, just like loud and wrong. And a lot of people don't take the time to go look up and do research themselves. They just listen to what their peers say and then just believe the headlines. So a lot of the youth are like anti-AI. So Claude Corps, by them dropping this, I feel like that this could help soothe some of that
Mm.
fearfulness because it's allowing like younger adults who and you don't even have to have a college degree. You can be fresh in your career journey, but it's allowing them to leverage AI while also going into these smaller, like small businesses within like rural and communities who probably don't have the funds, but allowing them to leverage the AI and help these small businesses just be more efficient, which is a great answer to me.
I agree. I think they've seen that, right? They've seen the headlines. We all see the graduation speeches where like students are walking out, they're booing the speakers, right? But I think more companies should take that lead as well too and realize like, hey, we have to create the opportunity. Something that we do is we have this junior AI consultant thing that we're doing where we take high school students, train them on AI, partner them up with a small business in their community, have them build an AI solution and they get paid for it. And they get to build a real resume, right? We'd love to do that at scale. Like we're just creating these jobs out of thin air pretty much by using what we have, what we know, and AI has really leveled the playing field, right? So we could train thousands of young people, do this at scale across the country if we have the resources and the partnerships and stuff to do that. So I think, yeah, what they're doing with Claude, yeah, Corps is it's pretty innovative and it'll force nonprofits to change and to kind of advance and do things differently.
For sure. I see that Lorna is off mute. Did you have anything to add or say?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How's it going?
It's going. So I am a retired technologist from way back. That's all I've ever done. And so I'm really enthralled with AI. I worked on AI way in the beginning, and not totally at the beginning, but certainly further along than many people have. I use it excessively. I like it. I don't like Google. So I use AI as much as I can. There's also this movement to stop AI or to manage or control AI. One of the things you learn in technology is garbage in, garbage out. So I offer the fact that right now it may seem fairly clean and I use a lot, but there's a lot of warning that comes with AI. And I think the same way people find ways to use it, there are people who wants to find ways to damage it and take away its credibility. I was entering AI to make an inquiry about my house specifically, and I was giving it data. And then I realized that the way AI works is going to take that data and give it back to somebody. So a caution is that what you give it, you have to make sure you don't mind having it spit back out. Because AI doesn't do anything. It gathers things. It does research. It pulls things together. It doesn't create information. It uses information. So there is, today on the news, and I'm a newsmonger. Today on the news, they were talking about how over about 1,000 GM workers were let go, and they were replaced by 1,500 AI robots. And it's very disconcerting, and it's real. But the same way you have this good thing about AI, there are many people, some of whom I know, who are working to break it, and it is absolutely breakable. So, it's good for us to really uphold it and use it as much as we can. I would say do that quickly before the devil has its way also. That's just my little message.
No, and
Thank you.
I appreciate you for adding that on. And I feel like that's just like like you said, like the evil side of things. Like people are going to always try to find out the best way
Yeah.
to hack something or to finesse something or even just to like break something. Before I add on, Marquita, did you have anything to add on? I said your hand is raised.
Yes, I just wanted to piggyback off of what the lady just spoke about. I had a conversation. The McCormick Place has a conference going on. It might be over, but it was happening over the weekend. It was robotics, so they had these companies coming in, presenting robots like for manufacturing and things. And this guy was a product owner, so I had a conversation with him specifically about if AI would be replacing work, and he was expressing the impact it had on his industry as a product owner. He was stating that the entry level positions were basically non-existent for, like, college students coming out trying to get into the role, because he doesn't need them anymore, because he's using AI to do like that blunt work. So yes, on one end, it's very useful, I guess, for as a business perspective, because if you're not hiring anybody, you're saving money that way. But then two, those jobs are being, replaced. So it's very important for us to know, how to use the technology to make ourselves more employable.
And I think, thanks, Marquita. I think on the flip side of that, on some of the corporate things that I've been seeing, I'm talking to some HR people, more companies, IBM included actually, they're doubling down on the number of entry level folks they hire and interns, because young people can learn the technology faster and then train the older staff, because the mid-level and senior folks are struggling to keep up. And now so they're pairing the younger folks. That's why they're doubling down on the number of entry-level hires. They're realizing, you know what, for us to like get them up to speed, we gotta have this intergenerational kind of thing going on. So now they're using the younger entry-level staff, early college grads and all that to train the older staff as well. So I think I think we see the layoffs, we see all that stuff happening. Also, it's very easy for a lot of companies to blame the layoffs on AI these days, right? If it's That's the easy like scapegoat, right?
For sure.
As well too. And I think George probably had his hand raised, maybe.
Oh yeah. Hey everybody. I guess I didn't introduce myself yet. George Mason, founder and CTO of FollowUp AI. We help founders and business professionals follow up in-person connections through networking events, conferences, so they stop losing out on leads and connections. And yeah, I think overall, I'll just say everything you guys saying, everyone what they're saying is pretty true. I think where it's like AI is here. I kind of see it as like the people who like were living through Detroit when they moved all of the car manufacturing from Detroit to China. And so right now we're in this weird space where the machines optimize profits, and that means usually the highest cost for a business is salaries. So when you optimize for profits, salaries are the first ones to go. I think this is a great opportunity for everybody to kind of like start their own business and also like grow your network, because it is going to get harder to find a job now, just because what took 7 people now only takes 1. But overall, yeah, I think AI is great. I think someone said about putting in like information about yourself. I would always use like a offline model. You could use like a thing called Ollama, and so Ollama, everything is run off of your desktop or your PC. So all that information is stored in the cloud for those AI models to like take that, or have like some guy who's working on the back end pull your personal information. So that's like one way to kind of protect yourself. And then 2 is pretty interesting about the nonprofits, because I pitched a nonprofit. I live in Queens, New York, and I actually pitched a nonprofit to build out a AI model specifically for them that was offline, because they didn't want to give all of their information to these big corporations. But again, like the reason why Claude is like doing this program is because the main thing was the budget, where it's like, hey, I can't do this for free. And then the budget I was asking, they said like right now they don't have the funds to be able to work with me right now. So it is going to be interesting to see how, like in the future, these nonprofits are able to kind of scale with AI while also holding on to their data, because Claude is like, I feel like someone said this, Claude is collecting your data. Like You're paying them so they can make their models better and faster. So they're not working with nonprofits because they care about the environment. They're doing it so they can collect information that's stored on paper that they don't have access to, so they can improve their models. And it's just like we have to be careful not to like feed the beast too much while also like utilizing all of the tools that are being created during this time period. So it's going to be a very interesting time. I'm kind of excited. I give it five. My last thing is like I give it 5 years, and they're going to turn the AI into college. Right? When my dad was going to school, college was free, and then now it costs like $100,000. And I think that's what's going to like what in 5, 10 years AI is going to look like. They're going to close. They're going to put up $100,000 paywall, and it's going to limit access to 90% of people in America, especially, and then we'll see how the European nations act. But yeah, we definitely have like a small window to kind of like utilize all of these tools and resources so that we can take advantage of the society we live in, I guess. But thanks for putting together this whole thing for us, because this is great. Like, I don't really have a lot of people to talk to about AI, so it's really fascinating to hear everybody's perceptions, the project they're working on, their backgrounds. So yeah, thanks again for creating this opportunity to like kind of share ideas.
But definitely, I think that was the whole point. And thanks for that feedback as well and that insight. Um, I'm a New York guy too, man. I was in Queens. I work with Queens high schools a lot. I was at St. John's University. So, no, I think to your point, right, in education, we have a couple minutes left here, but I'm just seeing in education, K through 12 in particular, the struggle to find the balance to like some places are like we're taking screens completely out of school. Like all this stuff, people are just trying to figure it out. Um, one, you talked about a good time to be an entrepreneur. This week I'm doing like 4 trainings for like, right, for cities, for like for a summer program, for a national nonprofit. One of the biggest opportunities, exactly what George said, is like figuring out how to implement AI for small businesses and nonprofits because they don't have a budget, they're struggling. And I will also say the big players like McKinsey and the Accentures of the world, their clients are now questioning their prices. It's like, you're using AI to like deliver this work. Why are you still charging me the same rates before? Like before. You know what I'm saying? Like there's agents doing all this stuff. Why am I still paying you $1,500 a day or whatever it is they charge? So I think yeah, it's an interesting time for sure, man. I think but our goal with these meetups and these sessions is like to discuss all this stuff open. Like again, we're not trying to keep anything to ourselves. We're not gatekeeping anything. We're just putting it out there. In particular to help our communities in Chicago and other places. So we don't have a date for the next one in July, but definitely go to the website. If you don't join the club yet, go ahead and join. If you have ideas for like topics for us to discuss next time, let's do that for sure. Bring your business idea or bring your pain point that you're having, no matter what it is, and we can vibe code something. We could create a solution. We can give you our input. The next time we'll try to bring some folks as well too to speak on specific topics as well on AI. But Jack, was there anything you want to say before we wrap up there?
Yeah, I appreciate each and one of you for attending. It was a great time, just a great conversation, just talking about AI. As George mentioned, it's really not that many people who I can talk to about AI. So like when I'm able to talk about AI freely and just speak my true authentic voice, like that is what is like near and dear to me. So I'm glad that each one of you was able to come. For the next one, if you guys have like a business and you want us to like showcase your business and you want us to like even give you points of how you should use AI, could you please send over your business link prior to the next meeting? That way we can have everything already queued up and it can just be a little bit more efficient. And also, if you have any, because this is only our second meetup, so if y'all have any idea on how we should format these, please let us know. Bevon and I, we do like formal traditional like AI workshops, but we wanted this to be like completely different. We didn't want this to be formal. We wanted this to be like pretty informal where anybody can just come. We can just talk about AI vibe coding. We can talk about AI on the street level. And yeah, we wanted to just be like a conversation where you guys are able to like showcase us anything. Like Vanessa told us the problem where she's experienced within her business. I was able to load up ChatGPT Codex to show how she could start, showcasing the automation. But yeah, just like things like that, where this is what we do and we do it for you guys. So I'm appreciative on you guys for attending here today.
Terry, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was actually curious. Well, it was just more of a question, but I know we're at time, so it's fine. I
Now,
can see it for next time.
Go ahead, you got
now you're good.
All right. No, it is one of those things that's like kind of interesting. I wanted to ask both of you personally, like, how do you look at the use of, you know, this like sort of trade-off, right? Between like using and all of these different types of, to your point, Bevon, you're talking about like Claude Corp, right? And then they're basically offering, the ability for folks to come in. Usually when people or companies, I should say, or organizations run pilot programs, it's because yes, part of it is also accelerating a lot of the learning and gathering the data. And a lot of that, again, is this data that you're giving out, right? So like I hear you saying like, okay, if you do a Claude extension on Google and Google search, like where do you get your news anymore? Where do you get, do people go to your traditional internet search models? And so knowing that this data could potentially be utilized, and this is also because I came from like a consumer action seminar today all they were talking about was like data and how there's a trade-off between security and convenience. And then it's sort of the way I look at it. I'm not sure if it's the right way of looking at it, but of course, with AI, there's a lot of things, like really cool things that even you're talking about. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you can do stuff like that. Yeah, that's really convenient and it speeds up a lot of tasks that could take a really long time. But what is the trade-off? Because at some point in time, and this has always sort of been, some of the issues related to inequities in our infrastructure and our systems. It's like, oh, it's free until now, yeah, at some point, I think George was talking about like 5 years from now, it'll be like $100,000 paywall. We're going to cut it all off. We've taken all your data, whatever the case may be. How do you look at balancing embracing the technology, utilizing it, knowing that you are feeding into information they want to collect, just really simply, right? Do you just like
Yeah.
not do personal stuff? Do you do like work stuff? But then it's also, I don't know. It's a question.
Yeah, I can go first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like personally, it's like you said, like a double-edged sword. So in terms of like the things that I share to AI, I don't share anything personal. I'm only sharing like business related things that I need the AI to do. So I'm not telling AI about my girlfriend or this or that. Like it's just certain things where I know like just to leave out of it. But I do upload a lot of like business information into like these AI models. But going to what George just said, and which is what me and Bevon was mentioning earlier, um, it's a lot of like open source models nowadays, like GLM, which I was talking about earlier, GLM 5.2, that's literally free and you can use it on your own device. So it's not uploaded to the cloud and everything in terms of like your personal data is stored on your device. So these companies are not able to access your personal device. So if you are someone who is a little bit, like more like data like sensitive, you could just download a free open source model and run these AI models from your local device. And nowadays, like GLM 5.2 just came out last week. It's kind of like on the same level as Fable 5, which is Curses, or not Curses, but Claude's newest model. It's not there, but it's like it's right there. It's close enough to be an open free model, and you don't have to worry about your like privacy or your data getting leaked. And then on top of that, so I'm 27, so I grew up with the age of social media. So like Facebook, Instagram, they already got all my data. I ain't gonna lie. So it's kind of like me, like how I am. I just know what to separate it, and like I don't know. I guess it's just like a personal thing, but like it's different things like open source models where you could just run all of your AI stuff locally, and you don't have to worry about them training your data anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So it's
I
kind
think
of like the software version versus cloud version, like local storage.
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, Terry. I think but what Jacques is describing, and I do some of the same things.
Mm.
Most people aren't doing that. or don't even know that they can do that, right? So I think the move is to make sure that people can be made aware that that's an option, right? So go offline, like do it offline. Your stuff is not it's not feeding the beast, right? So I think more of that is needed for sure because you know it's also not in their best interest for you to do that, right? So there's all these companies. These companies are doing this because they're concerned about data, right? They're going to conferences like the one you went to today because they're really concerned, and data is that's the goal these days, right? They're literally taking our data and selling it back to us.
Yeah.
Right. So I think from my end, I can't take the same approach Jacques does. And but I think like I said earlier, my concern and what we do is really understanding that there needs to be more of our voices in the conversation.
Sure.
On the large language model design type and right, because the people in those rooms making those decisions don't look like us.
Exactly. That's the
Right.
point.
That's why a lot of communities feel like AI is being done to them. Now, and they lack trust, right? They don't have the trust of the community. Another reason why they're going into nonprofits, right? So again, when we have these conversations, we're community partners of all these organizations, but they don't get to drive what we do, right? We actually, it's the other way around. Like we have the trust of the community. We know what we're doing. You guys can't show up on the south and west side of Chicago and Brooklyn and just say, "Hey, I'm Anthropic. Let's go." Like they don't really know who you guys are and they don't trust you. So
Exactly.
I always said the wide scale adoption of AI is going to come down to who the messenger is. Like that's what it's going to come down to. So but yeah, I think that's good, great question, Terry. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And for the Chicago folks, one last thing I put in the chat on July 22nd, we're doing an event with the city of Chicago and Department of Family Support Services, 300 young people, 18 to 24. It's a kind of future of work summit, first of its kind. The mayor should be there opening up the event, press conference, all that stuff. But I partner with the city to design this event, breakout sessions, talking about financial literacy, we're talking about AI, the keynote stuff. I mean, we need more of those conversations. This is a very ground level conversation. This is not at 1871 or M Hub. Like, no, this is like for regular people. Not enough of that is happening. We're doing it again, first of its kind in Chicago, and would love for the Chicago people who are here. If you're free, come check it out, 10 to 2. And we're trying to do this every year as well too. So I think that's all I had. We'll do a follow-up email like we did last time with the link to the recording, send out all details to the event and all that stuff as well too. Again, we appreciate you guys coming and hang out with us for an hour to talk about AI. Jacques and I, we're in our element when we do this. We love this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And we need more people doing this. So Jacques, any final words before we wrap up?
Hey, appreciate you, Gabrielle. Shout out you too. Any, I guess, Bevon, next time for the next meetup, we can probably propose like creating like a group chat or something, like something where we can all just like stay connected or
Could do it on
you know,
Slack or something, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like start like a Slack chat, like that way if you have any questions, you could just put it in there and then that way it's like we're not just emailing you, it's like a direct contact.
All right, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll follow up with emails and all that kind of stuff.
Thank y'all
Thank
so much
you.
again.
All right, see
All
you
right.
later.
Good
Peace.
night. Good night.